CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We got more information today from Sarnia police in the wake of last night's arrest announcement. Their prime suspect is in custody, one of two people now accused of second-degree murder in the fatal Lambton College shooting. With more from Sarnia, here's Brian Bicknell.
A quiet evening became anything but in this northwest London neighborhood Monday. Around 6:20 p.m., London police descended on 65 Ranchwood Crescent, arresting 24-year-old Kiao Do, the prime suspect in a fatal shooting in Sarnia.
Maybe 3 drones in the air, skating around the area and stuff like that. Had the back street blocked off and stuff. There was a bulletproof SUV over here with like 5 guys, armed personnel, masks, helmets and stuff like that, huge guns.
I heard them announcing the name, and I seen the guy walk out of the place, finally surrender. I said to my son, I'll bet you it's the guy they're looking for from the Sarnia shooting. And sure enough, it was.
Speaking to reporters and members of victim Dane Nisbet's family on Tuesday, Sarnia police say investigators learned Doe was believed to be in hiding at the London residence. That's when they reached out to London police.
The residence was contained, and with Mr. Doe ultimately surrendering to the police presence that was there. He was placed under arrest and turned over to the Sarnia Police Service for transport back here.
The case goes back to April 10th when Sarnia police responded to Lambton College just before 1 a.m. after reports of shots being fired outside a campus bar. 20-year-old Dane Nisbet died in hospital of gunshot wounds, while 3 of his friends suffered non-life-threatening injuries. In the following days, 3 people were arrested in connection with the shooting. The arrest warrant for Doe was Canada-wide, but the investigation took police to several local locations, including recovery of a weapon in Point Edward, to the arrests of now 4 individuals in Sarnia and London. Also charged with second-degree murder is 23-year-old Odom Richard Bunn, who remains in custody, while 2 Sarnia residents are charged with various offenses, including accessory after the fact. In the meantime, Doe appeared in court Tuesday morning. He was remanded in custody and is scheduled to appear in court May 1st. Brian Bicknell, CTV News, Sarnia.
Here in London, City Hall is partnering with the Western Fair District, creating public recreation space inside the Expo Centre.
3 gymnasiums, multi-courts in it, multi-purpose sports facility to try to relieve some of the pressure on our parks and recreation services.
City Hall will contribute $7.2 million, transforming part of the former Agriplex into a recreational space. Officials say the new gymnasiums will help meet growing demand for basketball, volleyball, pickleball, and badminton. The 25-year agreement is similar to the partnership that brought about the Western Fair 4-pad arena.
This will be a long-term partnership to provide more recreational space in the City of London. If we were to go out and do this build ourselves, it would be in excess of $30 million. So the partnership model not only saves money, but we expect to have this open in early 2027.
A pair of frontline homelessness agencies have received a financial lifeline from City Hall after federal funding expired April 1st.
Sometimes when things are out of our hands from a funding perspective, we have to pivot and find a way.
Over the next year, City Hall will provide up to $350,000 as interim support for Arcade Street Mission and 519 Pursuit. That will fund continuing frontline services, including daytime drop-in spaces and outreach. The federal government has announced a new federal program is coming, but no timeline for distributing those funds has been made public. A controversial development on Commissioners Road will see 4 high-rises built near London's largest environmentally significant area.
This council needs to do better to protect the environment. This is a failure of policy.
We actually have to be pragmatic here and recognize the history of the site and what's allowed to be developed on it.
As Mayor Josh Morgan explained, current zoning would permit light industrial development on the entire property, so council approved 4 residential buildings near the roadway as far as possible from the wetlands. The developer has offered to donate the remaining portion of the property to expand the ESA. City staff are defending the $4,800 a month cost to operate each of the micro-modular shelter units in London's South End.
I'm hearing clearly from the public that there's not enough transparency around the cost. They want an itemized listing of costs and invoices. Personally, I understand that. And they also want to understand why the cost is $4,800 per month.
Staff estimate it costs $288,000 a month to operate the shelter, which houses almost 70 homeless Londoners. That includes food, transportation, the operator's contract, and renting trailers for communal space. Councillors were also told 2 residents will soon be the first to graduate into permanent housing.
The cost is the cost. And we hear it too, that everybody can build these things cheaper, but nobody was. And that, services can be found that are better or different, but they weren't available. So we are in the reality we're in, and I think it's important for the public to know that in order to move at the pace that we moved, under the direction that we were given, you have to make trade-offs in terms of what is available and what that cost is.
Officials at Western University say they're laying the groundwork for future growth on campus and what the institution will look like into the next century. However, as Jerry Dewan reports, those ambitions aren't without concerns.
Cranes over the Western campus seem to be a constant feature. The public meeting Tuesday gave updates on 2 draft plans to keep the university moving forward: the open space strategy and the campus development strategy.
The campus development strategy really looks at the opportunities that exist to develop, but over a 50, 60, 70-year timeline.
Lynn Logan is Vice President of Operations and Finance at Western. She's also chairing the committee overseeing development of the 2 strategies that were established about 10 years ago. Logan says there have been 2 significant developments since that time. One is Western's acquisition of the Brescia property, now called the West Campus. The other is a change to the city's bus rapid transit strategy. A north leg along Richmond wasn't included when BRT was launched, but there continues to be discussions around a north BRT line through the campus along Western Road. Logan says circumstances like that are why their strategies have to be fluid.
I think we've got some things that we can flex. The pivot point for us, though, is when we get rapid transit and when we have more transit service that can come to campus.
Some attending the forum say steps being taken may actually put people at risk. Parking and residents are being moved to the edges of the campus, including more parking on the west side of Western Road.
The more you put parking lots, the more traffic you have, and the less likely you're going to have cyclists and pedestrians. So it's a bit of it seems like a reverse thinking.
Part-time instructor and environmental advocate Brendan Samuels is encouraged by the strategies, but wants ongoing accountability.
A lot of the public doesn't realize since Bill 185 was passed, there's no longer requirements for public meetings about developments happening on university campuses. So what I would love to see is a governance model where we have ongoing consultations.
Virtual town hall meetings for the 2 strategies will continue to be held in the coming weeks, and people can contribute online until May 18th. Jerry Dewan, CTV News.
The Ontario government is investing billions in new and expanded schools across the province, with a major share coming to the London region. The Education Minister made the announcement today in Kilworth, where he was asked about the changes to school board trustee positions as well. Rita Ismail reports.
It's an investment of $1.6 billion in school construction projects aimed at easing overcrowding and supporting growing communities.
Our region is receiving $285 million to build 7 new schools and expand 2 existing ones. These projects across 4 local school boards will support more than 5,000 students.
And these are the classrooms?
The province says the funding is part of a long-term plan to modernize schools and keep pace with population growth. But as investments grow into new schools across the province, new legislation is shrinking school board oversight. The Education Minister saying today there are no plans to reinstate trustees to 8 boards that are currently under supervision, including the Thames Valley District School Board.
I don't see across any of the supervised boards where boards are ready to be
put back into the hands of trustees and away from supervisors. So when that time comes, they will return, but not before. If it takes me 1 year, 2 years, or 10 years, I'll take the time that's needed to put these boards back on track.
In the meantime, TVDSB says they encourage families to use the Student and Family Support Office.
If you have concerns, go to your classroom teacher, your child's teacher, go to the school principal and the superintendent. We worked really hard to respond to concerns as they come forward.
Additional sweeping changes across Ontario's education system can be expected, including changing the title and role of the Director of Education to that of Chief Executive Officer.
A very good model for ensuring that the board is run effectively, efficiently, and while at the same time focused on student achievement.
Both the London Catholic and public boards will be impacted by the new changes.
The biggest concern is obviously the denominational issues that we would have with our director, and making sure that the board has the ability to hire and fire the Director of Education.
In the meantime, construction timelines for the new schools vary, but several of the projects are already in planning or underway. The province says the broader program will create more than 29,000 new student spaces across Ontario. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
After 100 years in operation, the Thames Valley District School Board is closing a historic school in St. Thomas. Board members indicate they've received provincial approval to shut down Arthur Voden Secondary at the end of this school year, and a new high school will be built in St. Thomas. However, no information has been provided on where that new facility will be built or when it would open. Officials say families will be contacted by the school board about relocating their children to other schools for September. The provincial government has announced plans to demolish 22 historic buildings on the former St. Thomas Psychiatric Hospital lands. As Brent Lail reports, that's shocked many local heritage advocates who want those structures preserved.
A shocking twist to the future of the St. Thomas Psychiatric Hospital lands.
We were obviously very disturbed.
A letter by Infrastructure Ontario indicates the plan to demolish the 22 buildings on the site. The $71 million plan to tear down the buildings in favor of housing was revealed by the province earlier this month. It stated the buildings are beyond their useful life and pose a health and safety risk.
I believe the buildings are not able to be repurposed. They're nice buildings, I respect that, not being used. And we need people in homes. And it was costing us $1 million a year to keep up those lands.
Heritage Central Elgin believes the buildings are structurally sound and could easily be adapted.
There are certain developers who would love to get a hold of it and turn it into housing right away. We were in on a tour in January, and it's still an extremely strong building and highly easily adapted. The walls are extremely thick. The inner walls are all brick. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the structure.
With respect to the buildings, I've talked with the Heritage Committee, understand their concerns. I've shared their concerns.
Central Elgin Council passed its official plan amendment, which envisions 3,500 homes and 9,000 people on the site. They did it despite opposition from their appointed Heritage Committee and even public input, which had 73% of attendees at engagement meetings in favor of keeping the buildings.
We've got this data from the public. It tells us that people don't want this thing. We haven't even heard business cases yet for the possibility of doing something else with the building. Culture
and Heritage has given me their word that whatever artifacts, whatever pieces of statues, brick, granite, whatever it may be, we need to be able to preserve that. And I will do, again, work with the Heritage Committee as best I can, as logically as I can, to help preserve everything and anything they deem historical and needed.
Demolition permits are in the works, and after the RFP process, the province will have a contractor in place by June to begin site clearing. Brent Lail, CTV News.
Lane reductions are now in place on a major stretch of Highbury Avenue. The freeway stretch from Hamilton Road to the 401 will be reduced from now until next spring. City officials say it's a necessary measure to rehabilitate the Commissioners and Bradley overpasses, along with road reconstruction on Highbury itself, plus new turn lanes. They also say the project includes environmental work, upgrading storm sewers and drains. Later on CTV News, the Grand's finale, a preview of the season's final show, bringing a story of pure Canadiana to the Spreet stage. Canada's main stock index was weighed down by losses in the basic materials sector. The TSX fell 234 points. In New York, the Dow lost 26. The Nasdaq dropped 223. The Canadian dollar down more than 1/3 cent. On commodity markets, gold lost more than $85 an ounce. Oil gained at $3.56 a barrel. The federal government tabled a spring economic update today on the one-year anniversary of last year's election victory. The Liberals have since secured a majority share in Parliament and have tabled a nearly $67 billion deficit. That's about $11 billion less than last fall's projection. The finance minister says they'll put some of those savings toward training thousands of skilled trades workers with a projected shortage of more than 20,000 a year. The feds are also promising to slightly lower CPP contributions, saving some workers money in the short term, but potentially leaving less available for retirement long term.
We've built the second fastest growing economy in the G7. And I want to put that in perspective. If you look at the numbers, Canada is growing almost twice as fast as what you see in Germany. Canada is growing twice as fast as what you've seen in Japan. Canada is growing 3 times as fast as what you see in Italy. And at the same time that we've been able to achieve to be the second fastest growing economy, we have lowered our projected deficit for 2025-2026 by more than $11 billion. This is at the core of being fiscally prudent.
Meanwhile, there's more volatility expected on global oil markets after a major Middle East producer announced it was pulling out of OPEC. Geneviève Beauchemin has more on where gas prices could go from here.
Another plot twist in the story of gas prices' wild ride with a shakeup at OPEC. As of May 1st, the United Arab Emirates will be out of the oil exporting group, and the impact of the UAE's exit, say analysts, is still to be determined.
UAE wants to increase its output, but that's going to take time. Of course, getting into market is still a real challenge with that blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. So the volatility, unfortunately, and the sustained high prices, I think those are going to last for a while.
Well, it's going to be $200. I'm used to it at this point.
And Fiset says he hasn't noticed the tax holiday Ottawa brought in to cushion the blow of rising costs.
Is there? There's supposed to be a tax holiday?
The excise tax holiday came into effect more than a week ago. The government estimated it would save Canadians about 10 cents a litre at the pump. But with negotiations over the Strait of Hormuz deadlocked, the price of oil worldwide has steadily risen in the past week. And so here's a look at how the tax holiday may be cushioning the blow. On April 14th, when Ottawa announced the cut, the national average was around 176 cents a litre. On April 19th, the day before the move came into effect, the price 174. April 21st, 164 cents a litre, the lowest price this month. Today it's back up to $1.75 a litre, around 9 cents lower than the highest price this year. Now all this as south of the border, Americans are paying the highest price at the pump in 4 years. That was in April 2022, shortly after Russia invaded Ukraine. Some drivers putting in a lot of kilometers say 10 cents a litre is small comfort.
But 10 cents is not...
But to others, anything helps as costs add up. There's still plenty of time for the price of gas to go up and down before the tax holiday ends. That's slated for September. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
Good evening. Mainly cloudy overnight and waking up tomorrow morning to another round of overcast conditions with some rain coming in. There's an area of low pressure that'll be riding just to the south of us, and it will kick up some moisture. So by about 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, we'll have a bit of rain. The chance will start to move in by about 8. 7 degrees in the morning. Thanks, Sarah. If you're heading out for a walk with Nova, best to do it as early as you can. As we head past 9 a.m., we are expecting some light rainfall. Stay with us. I'll have details of a cooler 7-day forecast coming up on the other side of the break.
Welcome back on the desk with Julie Acheson now, and I spent the weekend visiting some family up in Northern Ontario, and I have to say the difference in color tones was stark, going from what has become so green here in London. It was brown back home.
Definitely. They've had the significant amounts of snow, and it takes its time to melt.
There was still some snow, frozen lakes.
Yeah, you need the warmth to really have those flowers popping, and that's what we've had in this area. Although Carlyle temperatures are set to be on the very cool side over the next 7 days. So making it into the upper teens in southern Ontario today, so coming in above normal. We had a cold front come through, and that's the leading edge of a much cooler air mass that will be in place as we head through the week. We also have an upper air pattern that will lend itself to some unsettled conditions, an upper trough we call it. That's moving into the Great Lakes Basin in the coming days. So forecast today, we had the front come through with the rainfall and the gusty winds. This front will be stalling out just south of us overnight, and a wave of low pressure will take shape and move into the Ohio Valley tomorrow. That wave of low pressure will generate some showers in London and Midwestern Ontario, right through Huron County. Perth, you'll be on the fringe first thing in the morning, overcast to start, but by before lunchtime, you'll also be into some rain. So as you head out for the day, make sure you grab your umbrella. This is at 10 a.m. and you can see the showers in the area. By 2 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the bulk of that will push east of Toronto. And then as we head into Wednesday evening, just before the sun sets, we could see some peaks of sunshine, although it's not going to do a whole lot to help our temperature. It's going to be cool tomorrow, and it will be cool over the next 7 days. As we head into your Thursday, still the chance for showers. It looks like the bulk of the rainfall will be outside of London to the west towards Lambton County, Chatham, Kent. You'll see some rainfall Thursday as well. So unsettled conditions this week. Temperatures on the cool side, and we will see some spotty showers. 6 degrees in Midwestern Ontario, 8 in Port Stanley and Long Point. Rainfall amounts with this next wave coming by to the south. We're not expecting anything heavy, but it could get a little steady at times, which will push those numbers just above that 5 millimeter mark in London. Tomorrow morning, chance of showers by about 8:30, 9 a.m. That'll carry us through lunchtime, and the forecast high 9 degrees, mainly cloudy with sunny breaks. Thursday, a mix of sun and cloud. There will be some showers around on Thursday, but not an all-day rain. So Sarnia, Chatham, you'll pick up some light rainfall. Areas of western Elgin County, a bit of light showers, but east of that, more to mainly cloudy to sunny breaks, to a mix of sun and cloud. So unsettled into Saturday. So you can note the probability 30%. I left the rain off just because it's not going to be an all-day rain, but look at the temperature high, 9 degrees. We should be at 15 this time of year. 11 degrees heading into Monday with a chance of showers, and that lingers into Tuesday. So the weekend, we will have some light rainfall around, the greatest probability coming on Sunday. The other thing I wanted you to note was the overnight lows. Now the growing season, of course, has started. We still have the potential for frost and some freeze conditions, especially as we head into Thursday night and Friday. Always a good idea to hold off on planting. You know the drill. We still have a couple of weeks to go, maybe about 15 days. Chance for a rain-snow mix on a Sunday in through parts of Grey and Bruce County, with a chance of showers and temperatures headed back into the double digits as we push toward next week. So cool conditions, unsettled, and still some very chilly nights in the forecast, but some peaks of sunshine as we push towards Thursday and Friday. Back to you.
Thanks, Julie. A new survey suggests many Canadian parents are unable to set aside money saving for their kids' future education. Heather Wright has more on how young families are coping.
Isabel. With 3 kids in university at the same time, Brad Nussbaum knows just how expensive post-secondary tuition can be.
It was sort of like childcare, right? Having 3 kids in childcare at the same time, it's expensive. School's expensive.
Brad and his wife made a deal with their kids. They'd pay for tuition, the kids pay for living expenses. Registered education savings plans help cover most, and they got creative to take care of the rest.
There's a lot of scholarships that don't go claim. So we had the kids apply for every scholarship that we could find.
But as post-secondary tuition rises, more families say they might not be able to fully pay for their child's post-secondary education. According to a survey from Embark and Angus Reid, just 33% of parents say they can cover their kids' tuition. 27% say they won't be able to, while 26% expect it will be financially difficult.
Despite the large number of new parents today are financially planning and budgeting for the future of their children, there's not a lot of confidence that they can afford it.
In its early parent readiness report, Embark, an education savings and planning company, says there is significant concern among new and expectant parents when it comes to the cost of raising children. More than half say they are only somewhat financially prepared, while more than 1 in 3 say they've received financial help from family members. The advice from both financial planners and parents like Brad is to plan early to have as much time to save as possible.
We did a lot of things for our kids to get them to where they are.
With tuition, rent, and other living expenses, post-secondary education in Canada can exceed $30,000 a year, a number that keeps rising. Heather Wright, CTV News, Burlington, Ontario.
Welcome back. The Grand Theatre's season finale is hitting the stage, a made-in-Canada musical that earned international recognition on Broadway. With more on the Grand's production of Come From Away, here's Nick Paparella.
Come From Away has captivated audiences across North America. And now the story of how the community of Gander, Newfoundland gained international prominence has come to London. During 9/11, this Canadian story epitomizes the help your neighbor attitude, as planes were diverted to the island and welcomed with open arms. Much of the musical remains the same, but director Julie Tomeno says the production has been tweaked.
This grand production is a non-replica production, and what that means is the script stays the same and the music stays the same, but the staging, the choreography, the design elements are all original.
The chairs seen on stage are centerpieces of the production.
There's 186 chairs on the set representing people that come from away, and religious backgrounds and communities and cultural backgrounds, and all of the people that were affected by the tragedy of 9/11.
And someone brings out an ugly stick.
Sheldon Elter plays Officer Oz Fudge of the Gander Police.
There's no kind of stars. That's what makes it special. There's no person who really is kind of stand out. It really is about the entire town coming together, all these beautiful people who, even though they're all individuals, all come together to help everybody out.
And if you would like to catch the inspirational and true story of Come From Away, it's on an extended run here at the Grand Theatre until May 31st.
I think this is the perfect bit of Canadiana for any audience. When you come to this show, you're going to have a good time, you're going to have a good laugh, and you're going to be leaving with hope. I think that's the most important thing. You know, watching people come together in a moment of crisis and tragedy and to help each other out just couldn't be any more Canadian.
Nick Paparella, CTV News.
And that's it for us. Thanks for watching. For all of us at CTV News London, I'm Carlyle Fiset. Have a good night.